Welcome to another exciting
about 2 times podcast.
I forget many things. Right?
It's the problem with a joint podcast. Planning on this game. So, again, my plans throughout the episode, if you remember, we talk about this week that I might forget about getting rid of Decool. There's so much. It is?
No, I can't. It is
episode
173.
Yes.
Which is, well, actually, no, it isn't. I was going to say, it is a signal of a tremendous occasion.
It is, and
Wow.
and Decool has been. Yeah.
Carmen.
If I decide you're not good enough in today's podcast.
Yeah, I can see that. Cool.
No. Looking at wait, did that check?
No, I didn't say anything. A few. As you.
No, from the next series of Doctor Who, which is series 10.
Wow, series 10, which we know they're filming at the moment. We know it's all underway.
Block 2 currently.
We'll have a brief look at the first episode we've been watching of Invasion of Dinosaurs.
We will get those underneath.
Who to face? Is it?
You made it look good. Okay, so
No, why don't we have the randomizer?
Adventure, which is more than so related. I mean it's Barnaby Edwards, who's major Dalek operators. Who's also in the latest Spider-Man films.
And also, of course, it's the Mr. Lewis. Birthday.
No. On the internet today.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Thinking what we've been doing.
I listened to another Big Finish story.
Oh, excellent.
And was the former band in India.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what did you get in Forbidden Planet? Multiple.
But it was only £7.99, whereas they usually like £9.99.
Yeah.
So
It's probably here's something for you. Something I'm not sure about. I mean, obviously, there's a lot. We've talked about pop vinyls quite a lot over the years.
yeah.
It's hard to believe.
That Luca and C3PO aren't included in the
Yeah, I think it just. Yeah, yeah.
from Futurama.
Yeah. We've whilst we're talking about, I know you haven't last week, but I was going to now. We've got some things we did, didn't we?
We have. So, which is the first overall first 5 years ago, whenever it was, and
You think about it, you've only been 7.
yeah, I know, and I hadn't series 5 between series 5 and 6. I think maybe after series 6, part 1.
Yeah.
But it was be interesting to see how it's developed since then, and I'm looking forward to it.
Be interesting to see what you remember from last time as well.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit different now.
Yeah, I think it probably is. I think obviously there's. I think all the interactive stuff's changed, isn't it?
Yes.
So when you went last time, it was. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And do you know?
I've got things Weeping Angels.
Do you? Okay.
From memory, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to look it up later. So.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so you're doing that. We then that same week. So this is it's the. We're going to Cardiff, isn't it? This of September. And then that weekend is the Bournemouth.
It is, which has very low lack of guests so far.
It's quite good from a Doctor Who perspective, isn't it? There's quite a few.
I mean, we're definitely, if she's not going to be cancelled, we're going to meet Victoria.
Yeah.
Deborah Watling. And otherwise, I think it's going to be terrible. Like all of the comics guests that were there were cancelled and replaced by 3 new ones.
Oh, really? Okay. Isn't it? I think I wonder whether they've overstretched it a little bit because there's so many of them now. We don't want to keep coming back to the same ones. So, I mean, the first one had the first Bournemouth one had such a great number of stars, didn't it? Because it was the first one they did there. Yeah. But because they've already done it was only March, wasn't it, when they did?
Yeah, it was March.
So I think 2 in a town is probably too many for the year. But there's quite a number of people, so we'd be there anyway, wouldn't we? So what else did you get up to this week? You watched any Who? Other than Invasion of the Dinosaurs? We'll talk about
not watching because I was looking in Forbidden Planet if I could find any, but I couldn't. So I was looking for the Gunfighters, not in there.
Yeah, not in there.
Alas, baby. Not in there.
Alas.
Shall
I talk a bit about what I've been up to then?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. From a Who perspective, it was only really Invasion of the Dinosaurs that we've watched together, and we'll talk about later. I got to the end of Breaking Bad, but I can't remember if I mentioned that last week or not. So I can't remember when I finished it. Okay, I've started or continued watching Outcast.
Yeah.
TV, or I think it's on Fox, really. I think, which is quite good. It's a sort of about possession, written by the Walking Dead writer. That's interesting. And I've gone back to watching Ripper Street again.
Okay.
Which I really liked Ripper Street. When I picked up where I left off.
One or two?
Only watched one last night.
Are they an hour or half an hour?
They're about 45 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So third episode in, I think it was, from series 2, and really good. Really enjoyed it.
Cool.
So I should be carrying on watching that. Probably about all I have to report. I think.
So I think that's a sum up from the week.
Yeah. So should we crack on with the? As it is a Doctor Who podcast, we probably ought to talk about Doctor Who stuff.
We probably should do.
What have we got news-wise this week?
So, first of all, news-wise, David Suchet has been announced to appear in the next series of Doctor Who. Suchet will play the role of a character called the Landlord in Series 10, currently being recorded in Cardiff. He will appear in an episode written by Mike Bartlett, who's best known for writing Dr. Foster, the BBC show in 2015. Suchet is best known for playing Agatha Christie's Belgian detective Hercule Poirot in the ITV drama series. He played Augustus Melmotte in the 2001 British serial The Way We Live Now, a role which won him the Broadcasting Press Guild and Royal Television Society Best Actor Awards. In 2003, he played Cardinal Wolsey in the two-part ITV drama Henry VIII, and in 2006 he played the role of the fallen press baron Robert Maxwell. David Suchet has had an extensive theatre career and has recently been starring as Lady in The Importance of Being Earnest at the Vaudeville Theatre in London.
David Suchet, big name.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see. I think you had a thought about what sort of character you thought he'd be playing, didn't you?
What?
Earlier, you said because he's the landlord.
Oh yeah, I thought the always means a Time Lord.
Could do.
Or something to do with the Doctor or a Time Lord.
So it'd be interesting to see whether he looks quite Time Lord like, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So I think that would
be. And the picture is from Doctor Who.
Is it? Right, okay.
So.
Okay, so other news. Is there any other news? Have we got a lot of news this week, by the way?
Oh, got a bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Still news quite light, isn't it? On the basis of the fact that filming's underway, they're keeping it pretty close to their chest.
It's relatively light, yeah. I mean, if you're a Big Finish fan, then make sure you check out the offers at Big Finish this weekend. 10th anniversary, their Sylvester McCoy birthday celebrations.
Excellent.
So they've got, they've narrowed down, main range stories, 120-minute stories from £14.99 to £6 on CD, £99 to £5 on download.
Brilliant.
So those are up until midday. Decal will actually be useful to try and help me with that trailer.
With the trailer?
With deciding which download.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
out of three that I've decided, because I've decided 2 of them.
So I like the way you say decal will actually be useful for something.
Because I'm getting rid of you next week if you're not useful.
Oh, I see. Next bit of news. He said doing a useful introduction to the next section.
The BBC has announced that the stars of Doctor Who will be attending this year's Comic-Con in New York. Both Peter Capaldi and new companion Paul McKee, who will be at the event, as well as showrunner Stephen Moffat and executive producer Brian Minchin. They'll be joined by the cast of Class, the new Doctor Who spin-off, to be released this autumn. The Class panel includes stars Greg Austin, Fady Al-Assad, Sophie Hopkins and Vivian Opara, as well as the writer, creator and executive producer Patrick Ness. Current Doctor Who, current Doctor, I hate it when people say that, useless me. Peter Capaldi will be making his New York Comic-Con debut alongside the first ever appearance at a convention by new co-star Paul McKee, who plays Bill, the Doctor's companion. Dr. Matt Smith and companion Karen Gillan will also be attending the event, which takes place at Powell's at the Javits Center in New York between October 6th.
So do you think then that Class will have hit the airwaves by then?
I bet it'll be like that weekend or something.
You think? Yeah.
I bet it will be around that sort of point.
I wonder when we're here. I wonder when we'll find out. I mean, presumably, if they're taking them all to New York, then they must be showing Class not only on BBC Three like they are here, presumably on channels over the world.
I think we know streamed online.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to show it later on in the week on like.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it said on the Radio Times so it's going to be formatted like.
It's going to be like.
Me too. I'm not sure whether it's. I'm not getting my hopes up.
No.
It's what. Like it was like a year ago, or maybe just under a year ago when this was announced, and I hadn't got my hopes up since then because I think it sounds a good idea for a spin-off. Time will tell. I'm not getting my hopes up, but if it's good, keep me pleased, and we will feed back on Class at least episode 1 in October, November, September, whenever, and back then, and we will we'll decide from then on whether we're going to look at all 8 episodes or whether just the first one, maybe the whole the last one.
Some interesting to see that they're going to be at the New York Comic-Con at that sort of timing. So I wonder why they're going there. What's planned?
Do you think there'll be big news trailer?
Could be a trailer or something. I mean,
I think the trailer will hit at Christmas. I have done since they announced it.
Yeah, that's probably more likely, isn't it? It's odd timing that they're there as early as that when the series probably won't be live until.
I mean, maybe they're doing a trailer for the Christmas special.
Yeah.
Or something to do. I mean, maybe they'll reveal who the special guest companion. We know it's Captain Jack.
Well, we don't know, do we?
Oh, I know, but we think it
We're
is.
pretty sure.
Pretty sure, but maybe not, maybe not. Maybe
Okay.
we'll get the Paternoster gang.
Yeah, you never know. It said as well that Matt Smith and Karen Gillan are going to be there. I wonder if they're there just this sort of signing stuff in the same way as you get older companions when we get to Comic-Con, or whether they're there for other ventures that they're now working on.
They might be there for Guardians of the Galaxy too.
True, that's right. Yeah, she was in that, wasn't she?
So,
yeah. Don't
know what Matt Smith could be there for, but he's in stuff sometimes.
Maybe to announce his return.
But he denied that.
He did. So, do we have any other, further news this week?
Okay.
Let's see. Blah blah blah.
Okay, so books.
Mhm.
A brilliant set of books which produced the Lethbridge Stewart series. Have announced the release of their second volume of the Havoc Files, collecting the short stories released during the first half in 2016, originally released as digital downloads. The collection included the following titles: In His Kiss by Sue Hampton, by Sarah, don't know how to say that name, The Black Hex of Khufu by Tom Dexter, The Band of Evil by Roger J. Simmons and Sean Russell, and The Playing Dead, Sherlock. As with the previous volume, the Havoc Files 2 also includes new stories exclusive to the book: The Ashes of Inferno by Andy Franklin Allen and House of Giants by Rick Cross. As the new title suggests, the stories are related to two of the Doctor's television adventures. The brand new story picks up on a thread referenced in the most recent Lethbridge, The Grandfather Infestation by John Peel, dealing with the aftermath of the Doctor Who serial Planet of Giants. Two additional extras in the book include the original prologue from John Peel's The Grandfather Infestation, which includes why the Ymir brought the grandfathers to Earth in the first place, and the unpublished interludes from the Showstoppers by Jonathan Cooper. Range editor, oh no, we don't need to read that bit. As with the first volume, the Havoc Files 2 will only be available as a strictly limited edition print run, and can be pre-ordered directly from the Candy Jar bookstore. Lethbridge Stewart's adventures begins in October with the release of Time Squared by Rick Cross, followed by Blood of Atlantis by Simon A. Ford, and Mind of Stone by Ian McLean. They have news on those in the coming weeks. The whole collection is dedicated in the memory of friend of the range editor and Doctor Who fan, a 16-year-old who lost his life in tragic accident in July 2016. You can find out about Riot and how to support the RR81 legacy by going to a website in the show notes. Okay.
Is that roundup our news, or do we have any further news?
We do.
Still very, very light on news at the moment.
It is.
Surprisingly light. I mean, we always knew that a year with no actual Doctor Who would make for light news, but I can't believe quite how light it is.
Yeah, I know.
Particularly at a time when the filming's underway.
So, good news about nominations. Doctor Who has been nominated in the Best TV Show category of BBC One's Teen Awards. Other categories in the award include Best British Solo Artist, Best British Group, Best International Solo Artist, Best International Group, Best Film, Best Vlogger, Best Game, and Most Entertaining Celebrity. Voting closes tomorrow, so this is your chance to vote for your favourite, which we hope will be Doctor Who. You can vote in the link in the show notes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Does that wrap our news for the week?
No.
No, there's still more. Wow.
What? Why do you keep saying that?
Well, because I just haven't seen any.
Because I forget to say it to you every time.
Okay. So what do we have next then?
Because I think it's worthless news, some of it. I never told you the David Suchet thing, because...
No, you didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
You're in charge of the news, sir.
So, the founders of the
No, hi.
Oh,
Let's see
sorry.
if we carried on. So, a bit of a technical glitch.
Where?
I'll try this. Well, if we just explain that why the internet dropped off. Whether we're still.
Can I finish the news up?
Yeah, finish reading the news up.
So know that. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. If you hear us talking for like. Only. If you wish to attend, you need to contact the team at dallas.ljones@hotmail.com. You cannot just turn up at smithmoon.weebly.com.
That's fantastic. I'm just in now the so I think you can probably hear. No. So,
Okay, sorry about that.
Sorry about this, folks. It's
really annoying.
It is annoying, but not a lot we can do about it. So, yeah.
Okay, sorry about
this. Right.
Episode.
Which actually it's a me.
Yeah. Well,
the amount of shows we've done. Right, so
worthless.
you are worthless. Working. A bit
About what we know.
about what we know for.
I hope it'd be easier if we looked at this. So downloaded for one of the last news articles if you're listening earlier.
Or if you could listen. Because so we know at the moment that we've got obviously cloud in
Paul McKee.
I can't remember how to pronounce that now. It's Paul Mackey.
Paul.
Else do we?
I don't think the Christmas special has been done. No. But there are going to be no appearances from Paul McKee or Max. And as a one-off.
We are guessing.
And that's the most likely position. By Lee Moffat and directed by Lawrence Block. 20th of June. And the season opener marks the introduction the reintroduction of Matt Lucas as Nardole, presence throughout albeit from the modern day, as all pre as story. It looks like the Luke's University in Bristol, or an minister that possesses certain people begins to infect. Because there was a picture of guest star Stephanie. What seems to be somehow. Obviously, art. Simpler openers of RT these days, with a new monster and no storylines carried over from the previous.
Still, he's going to be like in the streets, isn't he?
Frank Cottrell, the voice, who wrote, also directed by Lawrence Goff again, in July, and production details are thin, but he's filming trip to Valencia to shoot what's in store. Much of the Valencia Museum, whose futuristic architecture would seem suited for an occasion, which would match tendencies to move to a more something at the museum robot, which was seen set. From the royal family, I guess, with Mina Anwar from the Sarah Jane Adventures, Bane Bothing, and Kaiser at Praiseworthy.
Okay, right, okay. So,
it started filming on Monday, the 1st of August, and Block 2. And no guest stars have been indicated currently.
we made a video about that
then. No, very little.
We know what literally is.
Lit. We acted by. We know it's part of Block 2 and was filmed in August, and guest stars David Suchet as the landlord. Other things we know. Season 2. He said it could be. There'll be some two-parters this season. We know that the first 4 episodes are standalone, so no opening two-parter. And so it's likely that the only 2 episodes will be the 17, almost certainly spring series before switching to autumn for a premiere. Given that the spring premieres usually lined up with Easter Saturday, a potential premiere may be Saturday, April 2017.
Okay. We still much. Do we? So you might mention on this. First one,
the third one.
Yeah. Moffat stories this time around, purely because the fact that we know that he had originally intended to bow out. So I think probably he's used the planning use.
I write the obvious Christmas one. We'll see him write the first one. And I think the right one.
Now, I don't know whether you want to cover this in this item or whether you think it's something worth of a. This will be Moffat's last season.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to give some thought as to what things we think Moffat still has to round up.
Maybe we should do that as a separate.
Yeah, I do. That happened. On the iPad. Posted it. You've got a ghost that happened to be home and you're freaking, isn't it? So yeah, we'll leave that then for
Yep.
What are the things that you're looking for?
Okay. Well, I'm looking for a bit of a lighter series.
Yeah.
But I don't really want really toppy.
Right, so like you
Yes.
don't say live that it's really soft.
Ruined.
Yeah.
And I really liked series 9 and 10. I mean 8 and 9 because they're dinosaurs and they're food that it's not good for younger fans.
I would agree. I think I want it to be somewhere in between what we've seen the last couple of seasons and what probably of the Stephen Moffat era, season 1 of his.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember what season number that was.
Season 5.
Season 5.
Yeah, I think between very early Matt Smith, which has lots of adventure, action-packed, fun, young sort of stuff, between later Stephen Moffat stories in the Peter Capaldi era.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Because I think certainly if you watch episodes like trying to give a good example from that sort of era, Vincent and the Doctor.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a great storyline to it, but it's still quite light, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I
mean, there are some very good episodes in that series, but it's quite a good series actually, and I think that would be the perfect tone.
I think so. So I mean, it's darker than the old RTD stuff, and I do find probably in most cases the Moffat stories and a handful of others, I do find the RTD period, certainly the Tennant RTD period, to be a bit too light, a bit too You know, it's not so much with the.
No,
I mean, the Eccleston one is really strong quality.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I know Fear Her is probably a low point in not just Who, but Who in general.
Yeah, it is the worst.
Oh,
well, no, actually, it's not worse. It's not worse than. It's not. There's a few.
Twin Dilemmas there, isn't it?
And I can think that a few that I think it was.
Yeah, but it is definitely a low point, isn't it? And it felt very childish, really. That one. And you sort of think, I hope it doesn't get like that. I mean, it comes to something where actually the Sarah Jane adventures were a lot more adult themed than Fear Her.
That is right. I mean, should we go on to writers? Should I name a few writers that I think?
Yeah, name a few writers that you know are going to be in it.
No.
Yeah. Do we know who all the writers are or not?
No.
Okay.
But what writers do we want to see?
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
we really want to see. I really want to see Jamie Matheson again.
Yeah, me too. I'd like to see him again.
I'd like to see Peter Harness, who wrote the Zygon ones last time. I thought he was a good writer last time.
Yeah, I know people didn't necessarily, not everybody liked it, but I liked Kill the Moon as well. I thought it was strong.
And if we want a lighter-hearted series, maybe Gareth Roberts, who wrote The Lodger.
So I know it's a bit of an aside, but I just had a funny thought pop into my head.
Yeah.
Which is, we had the disaster midway through this podcast where, and then we reset it, and it automatically came on, didn't it?
Yeah.
So does that mean there'll be this section in the middle of the video with me and your faces like crowded around the screen because the webcam automatically turns on? Probably will, won't it? So yeah, sorry about that, Bob.
Sorry about that if you've got this far.
Right, I agree with you on Jamie Matheson in particular.
Yeah.
What about the other lady writer that was in the last series?
Catherine Jenner?
Yeah, Catherine Jenner.
I don't think she'll return, but she might do.
Yeah, she could do. Again, I guess her story was a very complex one, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
Directors.
I'm not very good at remembering.
I mean, I'd like Rachel Tallahay to do the finale again.
Yeah, definitely, because she brings a cinematic quality, doesn't she?
Yeah, I loved her work on both Darkwater, Death and Heaven and Heaven Sent and Hellbound.
Yeah.
So, be good for her to do all Peter Capaldi, all like the Peter Capaldi season finales.
What do you think in terms of monsters? Do you think that are we likely to see a lot of returning monsters? Do you think Moffat want to go out with a bang of classic monsters that he hasn't yet brought back, or do you think he'll be going for new stuff predominantly?
Mostly, but I think there'll be appearances from such things as Daleks, Missy. I know Missy will be in it. Yeah, I think so. I think Michelle Gomez revealed it. She was also saying she's looking forward to the way that her about her and Bill. So yeah, I think they'll do Missy, Daleks, probably Cybermen. From the main ones, don't think so.
Yeah,
but they might do.
I just wonder whether there's some sort of monster that Moffat's thinking, I haven't managed to get in the, I don't know, Anjugams or something like that,
I'd love to see Devils. Come on, Sea Devils.
Yeah.
Come on. The most obvious choice.
They feel like the most obvious one that's missing, don't they?
Yeah.
Sea Devils.
They are the most obvious one.
Yeah. Yeah. We should send them our Alcatraz story.
We should.
They could use that, couldn't they?
They could.
Anything else to comment on, really, on season 10?
Any characters you want to return, or and then we'll talk about Pearl McKee.
Characters I'd like to return. I still think it'd be nice to see a little bit more of Frank Skinner's character.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I think he would have done as a much better returning character than Matt Lucas.
I'm not sure about the whole thing with Matt Lucas. I mean, the fact that they're using that character again does really add weight to when they sort of talk about the series being different. Definitely adds weight to it being a lighter series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking forward to that. When he was on the front of Dawn the other week with Peter Capaldi and Pearl McKee, I was just like...
Perhaps I could ask that question forward for the next series of Doctor Who, as much as you've looked forward for the last couple.
A bit more about it before.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I will be excited because it's been a longer break and it'll be back.
I think it's worth remembering that you didn't have high hopes.
No, I didn't.
And then when you watch the first episode, you're really excited and in awe of it.
And it's not. I don't have high hopes at this. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm probably not as 9. But I am a bit worried about it. But I'm looking forward to seeing Pearl McKee for the first time. Looking forward for Peter Capaldi, more Peter Capaldi. I'm just not looking forward to Matt Lucas. I have nothing against him as an actor. I just don't think his character's good enough. And it could get a bit too light-hearted, and I don't want them to ruin it by making it too light-hearted.
No, I'm the same.
But it may give a bigger viewing.
Okay. What about platform. Bill? What do you think? What do you mean? We'll want from Bill.
I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Bill because new companion. Think she's going to be a much more light-hearted, much more funny, much more likable, much more companion. Because you can find in series 9, Clara did become a little bit unlikable.
Yeah. She got a bit big-headed, didn't she?
Yeah, she did, and that got on people's nerves, and I think she's going to be a very relatable companion as well.
Yeah.
She may be a 1 series companion, or maybe 2 at the least.
Yeah.
But what if? I think Chibnall would maybe want at least a new companion.
That's a good point, actually, because you asked me earlier on, and I said I'd imagine she'd be 2 series. But yet the point you made there is a really good one, in that Chibnall, he's not changed the Doctor. He'll probably want to change the companion. He will want to put his own stamp on it, won't he? And I guess that's an interesting question. It's a bit of a related one, but takes us on a bit of a tangent. Any new showrunner that hasn't had any change at all, that's literally picked up the same Doctor and the same companion.
I mean, John Nathan Turner picked up from Tom Baker.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Anyone I can think of, but there are a classic Who.
Okay.
It would be different in New Who if they did, but don't think they will.
Wrap up our article.
I think it does.
Yeah.
For the next bit, do you want my DVD?
Actually, yeah. So I mean, we started to. Yeah. In fact, I'll just read out what it says on the back. Actually.
Okay. So this DVD says next week, Decool is left the podcast, and it's his last show. That will be a terrible episode for you, Lewis. You will be very sad. Please do not sack him. If I can take that advice. There you go.
Okay. So last week, the randomizer randomly, he says in the birthday voice of Sylvester McCoy,
yes,
randomly selected Invasion of the Dinosaurs. So it's written by Malcolm Hulke. It says in terms of story, returning to London, the Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith find a city almost completely devoid of life. The civilian population has been evacuated in the wake of unimaginable event. Somehow, turned to terrorise the Earth. As the Brigadier and unit fend off increasingly vicious attacks from gigantic prehistoric reptiles, the Doctor investigates just how these monsters are appearing without warning. Kidnapped, but perhaps even his oldest friends can't be trusted. Ooh. We won't give that bit away. We'll keep that.
We won't. We don't like to give much away unless.
Well, I can't believe it. At the end, everybody died.
Shocking, but it's also shocking that we haven't even watched the end yet.
No, that is shocking. But so we're 3 stories in. Tell you what, right? Aside from the fact that quite obviously the dinosaur effects are very dated, which there's no getting away from the fact. We've got to remember when it was made. It was early 70s.
that which doesn't bother me at all, I should say.
No, it doesn't.
I think this is a bumper. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it joins the Time Monster in really great underrated stories. I mean, it's just so shocking that this and the Time Monster are as low as they are. So I really like this episode, as you might have heard this last week if you listened to the whole of the show. You know, it's not my favourite Jon Pertwee. Love the Jon Pertwee era, and I love unit stories. So I love the unit era, and the unit era has some sort of feel about it that I love. It with me, and great plot, great story.
Anyone, didn't I? Because I said that I was actually enjoying this story even more than the diamonds.
Damn you! You're definitely getting sacked now.
It's not to say in any way that I didn't like the diamonds, because I did.
Yeah.
But there's something about this story where I really, really like it. I like the concept that we've had so far. These things being pulled in from the past, and we still don't really fully understand what's going on with it all yet. And,
I do, because I've already watched this one.
Yes, you have. If I'm being honest with you, into this one with particular high hopes.
No, even though I said it was going to be a good
one. I know you said it was a good one, but I don't know, I just didn't go into it with particularly high hopes.
Not high hopes.
But I've right from the start, right from the very outset, I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's a nice, I mean, Sarah Jane with Tom Baker, I think, and Jon Pertwee, but there's still quite a good chemistry between them.
There is.
I like her adventurous nature. I like the fact that she's there. She wants to get in and take some pictures of the dinosaurs.
I think the relationship between her and Jon Pertwee is kind of a bit similar between.
Yeah.
Just a bit stronger.
Yeah. I think he's good though, Pertwee.
He is.
I think he's I was going to say an underrated doctor, but I mean, I think he is really highly rated.
He is very highly rated.
You
just never think of him as one of the best.
We were talking earlier on, weren't we, about generally and how strong the Pertwee and majority of Tom Baker's era was.
Yeah, I know. Really is from Spearhead from Space to the Lulu years, I'd say. 70s, brilliant.
Would you say that the 70s was probably Doctor Who's strongest period?
It may have been, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think so.
There weren't really many weak stories.
No, and there's a lot of the ones which are referred to as classics.
Talons, Diamonds, you know.
All of those, they seem to fit in this era, don't they? The majority. Yeah. So.
We've had Genesis, Inferno, the Diamonds.
Yeah.
We've watched them. Robots of Death. Episodes.
And as you say, it's always nice when you get the dynamic of unit.
Yes, it is.
So, and we've watched a few Pertwee ones of late, haven't we?
We have.
Obviously, all got the.
Suddenly, it seems to be the third and fifth Doctors are both coming up.
Which is worrying, really, because it means at some point or other we're probably going to get back-to-back Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy episodes.
It's because we've not had any Sylvester McCoys.
We haven't, have we? Nothing's come up. And I know we don't have them all, so some of them would have to skip anyway. But it's odd that none of them come up, not at all.
Soon, one will have run out of Jon Pertwee and Peter Davidson episodes, and then we won't ever have to. They won't ever be new to you.
We should do this. We should build into the randomizer. Firstly, what percentage of the stories we're through? We looked at it. We're about a third of the way through, aren't we?
Yes.
But also
no, we're 29%.
Yeah.
29%, everyone.
It would also be interesting to see what percentage of each Doctor we're through.
I mean, I write a checklist on like Google Docs or something of every story.
Yeah.
And I can work it out.
Yeah. So I think that'd be worth doing. So interesting one. We've gone off the track a little bit of Invasion of the Dinosaurs, but I think we'll talk about it mainly next week when we've rounded it off anyway.
We will. So let's give a brief sum up of your thoughts on the first 3 parts.
Okay, so interesting concept. The story, poetry's really good. Sarah Jane really good. The villain, good little shocking bit with the who you can trust and who you can't trust. All in all,
sadly, I'd watched Planet of the Spiders before this. Spoilt it.
All in all, enjoying it, and I can't wait to watch the last 3 parts.
Yeah, I love this story. Very, very underrated. I love the style of the John Pertwee eras. I've really enjoyed rewatching these stories. Let's hope that the last 3 parts are as good as the first 3.
Well, on that note then, that probably takes us past this one into our final section of the show. What is now legendary?
Two-Face! Who Two-Face?
Now.
Who Two-Face equals last episode of Who Two-Face.
You'd be lost without me. You'd be lost.
I know, but I've got Lily as my new co-host.
Oh, is that right?
Next week, she's joining us.
Who Two-Face then is a similar concept to what we've done with the randomizer generally, which is a spreadsheet. But on this occasion, it's not episodes, it is doctors and monsters. So when we press the magic
randomizer
button, it will select for us 1 doctor, it will select for us 1 villain, and we will both, off the top of our heads, try and create a story about it. This time it must be your turn.
Yes,
I can remember it being mine last
It's my turn this week.
So we're going to press that button then.
Okay.
Here we go. The great thing about this tool is there's a big orange button on it with press here written on it. And we made this ourselves. So.
Yeah.
So what have we got? Let's see.
Okay.
Right, we've got something coming up which I've no idea what it is.
Okay, let's look at a picture of it.
So, well, first of all, we've got the 4th Doctor, so we know who that is. That's Tom Baker, the best Doctor.
In your opinion?
In my opinion. Monster-wise, do you know what this is or not?
Yes. Ooh. Hard to find a picture of it. Let's go to Google.
So, as you say, that looks like Daleks to me from here.
Google, because Bing is rubbish.
Bing is rubbish.
So
it's the was it the Exilions?
Exilions from
I recognise the name.
Daleks.
I recognise the name, but I can't. It's.
They are those things.
What on earth are they?
Death to the Daleks. Creatures.
They're cool. I like them.
Them.
Yeah, I really like them. No idea what they are. Who they are.
The creatures.
Do they work for the Daleks? Or?
No, they are against the Daleks.
Okay.
They tried to destroy the Daleks.
Are they good or bad?
They are.
Or just for themselves?
They are. Some of them are good.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are bad.
Okay.
This is just my memories of them.
Okay, well let's go for it then.
Okay, this one's called Destruction of the Daleks.
Okay.
So the Doctor and do something different. Romana 1. Actually, no, I can't because it would have to be.
Okay.
Arrive on the planet Exilius, and there they that there's some sort of alien life force which isn't the Exilians. So they soon discover, and the Daleks are planning on the Exilians, so they are their slaves, and Romana has dressed up as an Exilian to try and see what they're doing to them, but instead of them and changing their minds, they're destroying all of them and wiping out their race, so that survive, because Romana soon discovers that the Daleks are destroyed and they are feeding off the energy of other life forms, in this case the Exilians, to survive. And Romana is for the Exilian because obviously is wearing the costume, and she is taken to the base and is about to be destroyed. So the Doctor has no idea this is all happening, has no idea what's going on. But when he does, time or will the Dalek Emperor arrive, and before he gets the chance.
Exciting.
Sorry.
No, not at all.
Yes,
it's quite a hard one to come up with, actually.
Yeah, it is.
My story is going to be called The Unknowing. It stars Tom Baker as the Fourth Doctor.
Yeah.
His companion in this one is going to be just Adric. Okay.
So it's presumably between Keeper of Track out.
If you say so.
Okay.
Now, Adric asks the Doctor, try and help him. He's obviously a very clever young lad, and the Doctor's helping him with this sort of. And as they're working on it, the TARDIS starts to distort and twist around itself, and they you're in like a hall of mirrors, and you look in the mirror, and there's a big fat you and then a thin you.
Yeah.
And that. It's like that. It's just distorting them and distorting them. Wake up, and they're in this desert. Okay. And they start, as they're walking through this desert, they start to hear people nearby getting a bit worried about it and everything. And Adric sort of like starts calling out, "Who are you? Who are you? Help me! We're here, we're lost. We mean you no harm." And then these people jump out in front of them, and they're sort of all wearing tattered clothes and because they are Exilians, and they've got sort of weapons. And the Doctor sort of says, "I know who you are." And the Exilian replies back, "We are a race that know not who we are. We know not why we were put here. We know not who we are. We know not what our existence is."
It's a little twisted. But I don't think the Exilians speak.
We know not how we speak. We know nothing. We know not of our existence.
Apart from if it's the loud, the good one.
Well, anyway, the Exilians can speak here,
Okay.
but the Exilians have no idea who they are or what they're doing there. What they did in the Dalek episode. And basically, the story is about the Fourth Doctor and Adric. Help them understand their reason. Find it out. They realise that actually there's purpose there, and it turns it all around. And then rather than the Doctor helping them, the Doctor is their enemy, and they want to destroy him. There we have it.
Cool.
That's
Good
the story.
episode.
The unknowing.
Good.
We
Good.
don't know who we are. We cannot even speak. We know nothing.
We know nothing of what happened in the Dalek episode. Okay.
That probably brings us to the end of this week's show.
Yes, and before we go on to what's up next time, when we go into 2 weeks, when we go to Cardiff, is it true that the show may be on a different date than usual, than a Saturday?
It might be, yes.
It might be, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll announce next week what our
that sounds good.
show.
Yeah.
Maybe on a Thursday instead.
Maybe.
Episode or a Wednesday.
Yeah.
But next week's show will be as normal.
Yeah.
Episode 174 as next Saturday. And we're going to be looking at what Moffat needs to round up and what we think he needs to do in his final series.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting item in itself, won't it? Be talking properly about the invasion of the dinosaurs.
We will be looking at the latest news.
We will be doing another 3-minute rant. It's the Exilions.
And it will be called, your 3-minute rant will be, why have you been sacked? The magic randomizer button. All Indie Cool's final show. So, it's going to be a sad show. So, next week.
Good stuff. Thank you very much for joining us. Sorry about the little mess up.
Yeah,
What
sorry.
is probably just worth mentioning. Today, later tonight.
Yeah, 5th anniversary celebration video.
Yeah.
All about the Miss Lisbon YouTube channel.
Brilliant.
So that'll be released tonight.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. I'm D Cool.
And I'm Liz Moon. We'll see you next time.
Same space.
Sequel sacked next week.
Now.
Well, that was Barry von Vonson. He says no. I think yes, because Deacle messed up the end soundtrack. The only way to find out, next week's show, to be continued. That was just a little bit cringy.